with the heat. Credit is no good for an ocean salesman.
Board, all aboard!
Why not? What's the matter with credit?
It's old-fashioned. Charlie, you're an anvil salesman. Your firm give credit.
No, sir.
Nor anybody else!
River City next.
Cash for the merchandise. Cash for the button hooks.
Cash for the cotton goods. Cash for the hard goods. Cash for the soft goods. Cash for the fancy goods.
Cash for the nuggets and the pigs and the frickets.
Look, what do you talk?
He can talk, he can bicker, he can talk, bicker, he can talk all I want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't. But you gotta know the territory.
Ever meet a fellow by the name of Hill?
Hill?
Hill.
No!
Just a minute.
Never heard of any salesman. Hill? No, he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory?
What's the fellow's line?
Just a minute.
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
For a doggone thing, he's just a bing, beep, bell ring, big cold, creakle, knicking and ripple, and every time a bull's a salesman. That's a razor, Harold.
Tell us what's his line?
He's a fake and he doesn't know the territory.
Look, what do you talk? He's a music man.
So what? He's a what?
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town with a big trombone and a lot that drums. Big brass bass, and the piccolo in uniforms too, with shiny gold on the coat and a big red stripe run.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know Kate make a living selling big trombones. No, sir. Metal and picks, perhaps. There's the juice harp.
No, the fellow sells bands, boys bands. I don't know how he does it, but he lives like a king on dollies and he gathers and he pucks and he shines. When a man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When a man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he doesn't know the territory. River City, we cross the state line into Iowa. Population 2,212. Board? All right, if you're all through, I'll tell you about Harold Hill.
You really know Harold Hill?
Never saw him in my life, but I know this much. He's given every one of us a black eye. After he's worked the town for the next salesman to arrive, he's automatically tarred and feathered and rode out of town to the city limits on a rail.
Well, why she get a road out of town on a rail?
Because in order to sell band instruments and uniforms and instruction books, he has to guarantee to teach the kids to play and to form the kids into a band with himself as the leader.
Sure like to be around one country with that fella.
Well, it won't be on this trip, not in Iowa. Even the great Professor Hill would try to sell them neck-bowed Hawkeyes out here. Board!
Gentlemen, you intrigue me. I think I'll have to give Iowa a try.
Don't believe I caught your name.
I don't believe I dropped it.
About the Iowa way to treat you when we treat you, which we may not do at all. There's an Iowa kind, a special chip on the shoulder attitude we've never been without that we recall. We can be cold as a falling thermometer, just about our weather in July.
Mr. Squires? Yes. I'm interested in a rig for Sunday if you could accommodate me.
Then I expect you not to see the man in charge of fire and rigs, who is late as usual.
Hey, Gregory!
Marcellus!
You old son of a gun! What it? Shh. But Greg.
Professor Hill's the name. Harold Hill.
But Greg, why didn't you let me know you was coming?
I didn't know it was myself. Besides, how did I know you ended up in a little tank town like this? You were a pretty big slicker when you were in business with me.
Too many close shaves the way you work. Besides, I got me a nice, comfortable girl, Ethel Toffelmeyer, boss's niece.
Gone legitimate, eh? I knew you'd come to no good.
So, what's the new pitch? You're not back in the band business. I thought you was in steam automobiles.
I was.
What happened?
Somebody actually invented one.
No.
Now, give me the lowdown here, Mars.
You'll never get anywhere in the band business with these stubborn Iowans, Greg. Besides, we got a stuck-up music teacher who will expose you before you get your grip unpacked.
Male or female?
The music teacher? She's the librarian, female.
Perfect. That's just what I wanted to hear. If she passes by, point her out to me.
I will. So how are you going to start the pitch?
Same old way. Keep that music teacher off balance. My next step will be to get River City out of the serious trouble it's in.
River City isn't in any trouble.
That I'll have to create some. I'll have to create a desperate need for a boys' band. You remember. Now what's new around here? What can I use?
Nothing. Except the billiard parlor's just put in a new pool table.
Never had a pool table before?
Nope, only billiards.
That'll do. Either you're closing your eye to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friends. Right here I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly my brother say I always might proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my hand are golden. Help me cultivate horse sense and a cool head and a keen eye. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pucks in a table. Pucks that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with a capital B that rhymes with P and that stands for. Now, I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on with the loafing around that hall? They'll be trying out beaver, trying out cubies, trying out tailor-made like cigarette fiends, trying all about how they kind of girl up a tell breath with sense. And one fine night, they leave the pool hall, heading for the dance of the armor. Libertine men, Scarlet Woman, and ragtime. Seamus music that'll drag your son, your daughter, to the arms of the jungle, anal instinct, mass hysteria. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With the capital T that rhymes with P and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Gotta figure out a way to keep young ones moral after school. Children's gonna have trouble. Mothers of River City, heed the warning before it's too late. Watch for telltale signs of corruption. The moment your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee? Are certain words creeping into his conversations? Words like swell? And so is your old man.
Trouble.
If so, my friends, you've got trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With a capital T that rhymes with P and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
With a T. The other rhyme with P. And that stands for pool. Did you drop your...
No.
Did I meet you in...
No.
I'll only be in town a short while, so good.
Hello, Mama. Keep on, Amaryllis. I'll be there in a minute.
Yes,
Mama, a man with a suitcase has been following me all over town.
Oh? Who?
I'd never seen him before.
Did he say anything?
He tried.
Did you say anything?
Mama, of course not.
All right, Amaryllis, now with your exercises. So, do, la, re, ti, mi, a little slower, and please keep your fingers curved as nice and high as you possibly can. Don't get faster, dear.
If you don't mind my saying so, it wouldn't have hurt you to find out what the gentleman wanted.
I know what the gentleman wanted.
What, dear?
You'll find it in Balzac.
Excuse me for living, but I never read it.
Neither has anyone else in this town.
There you go again with that same old comment about the low mentality of River City's people and taking it all too much to heart.
Now, Mama, as long as the Madison Public Library was entrusted to me for the purpose of improving River City's cultural level, I can't help my concern that the ladies of River City keep ignoring all my counsel and advice.
But, darling, when a woman's got a husband and you've got none, why should they take advice from you? Even if you can quote Balzac and Shakespeare and all them other highfalutin creeds.
Now, Mama, if you don't mind my saying so, you have a bad habit of changing every subject.
No, I haven't changed the subject. I was talking about the stranger.
What stranger?
With the suitcase who may be your very last chance.
Now, Mama, do you think I'd allow a common mash now? Really, Mama, I have my standards where men are concerned, and I have no intention.
I know all about your standards if you don't mind my saying so. There's not a man alive who could hope to measure up to that blend of Paul Bunyan, St. Pat, and Noah Webster. You get cooked in for yourself and your Irish imagination, your Irish summer to see your library full of books.
Well, isn't that the best I've ever heard?
Thank you. Can I have a drink, please?
May I have
May I have a drink, please?
Yes, dear.
Is that a way to walk in the house? I'll have a kiss for my boy. The lady over there is your sister, young man.
Hello, Winthrop.
Winthrop, where's your manners?
I'm having a party on Saturday. Will you come? I would especially like it very much if you would come, Winthrop.
Well, Winthrop, Amarilla's asked you to a party. Well, are you going or aren't you?
No.
No what?
No, thank you.
You know the little girl's name?
He won't say Amaryllis because of the S, because of his lisp. He's ashamed.
We know all about his lisp, Amaryllis. Well, Winthrop?
I'll bet he won't say it.
No, thank you, Amaryllis.
Amaryllis, Amaryllis.
Winthrop, wait!
Why does he get so mad at people just because he lisps?
It's not only because he lisps, Amaryllis. That's just a part of it.
What's the other part?
Never mind, dear. It's just that he never talks very much.
Not even to you and your mother.
No, dear. We all have to be a little patient.
I'm patient, even though he doesn't ever talk to me. But I do to him every night. I say goodnight to him on the evening star. You have to do it the very second you see it, too, or it doesn't count. Good night, my Winthrop. Good night. Sleep tight.
There, dear. You have lots of time. If not Winthrop, there'll be someone else.
Never. I'll end up an old maid like you.
For the time being, just say goodnight. My someone. You can put the name in when the right someone comes along.
All right. It's better than nothing.
Yes, it is. Now you can play your crosshand piece.
Now I may play my crosshand piece.
Good night, my someone. Good night, my love. Sleep tight,
to my wife, Eulalie McKinney Shin, for leading the singing. As mayor of River City, I welcome you, River citizens, to the 4th of July exercises set up for the indoors here in Madison Gymnasium. Account the weather. The members of the school board will now present a patriotic tableau. The members of the school board will not present a patriotic tableau. Some disagreement about costumes, I suppose. Instead, the Watani girls of the local wigwam of Hiwatha will present a spectacle of my wife, in which my wife, Eulalie McKechnie Shin, will take a leading part. Watani! Watani! I will now count to 20 in the Indian tongue. Een, teen, t'other, feather, fip. Oh! I'm shot, George! Who shot me? Who set off that cracker?
Yes, it was Tommy Gillis.
Tommy Gillis, I wouldn't leave if I was you. Mrs. Shin will recover. The Payne's fireworks spectacle, last days of Pompeii, will take place, providing the rain stops by 9:30.
How can it be raining? Didn't the Gazette predict fair?
Sure did, Ewart. That's why we all prepared for a storm.
Because that is accurate most of the time, and you know it, JC.
You wouldn't last very long in the banking business, being accurate most of the time.
Will you members of the school board stop bickering in public?
We're not members of the school board.
Will you members of the school board stop bickering in public? Otherwise, never mind.
We heard there's a pool table in town.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Now, just a minute.
Is it a pool table or is it?
Will you allow me to get on with the exercises?
Any more exercises?
Penny, can you do the pen?
Yeah.
Let's protect our children.
Yeah!
Resist sin and corruption.
Yeah!
Smite that devil and keep our young boys pure.
Yeah!
May I have your attention, please? Attention, please. I can deal with this trouble, friends. Wave my hand, this very hand. Please observe me, if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to recognize the River City Boys band. Think my friends heck on any pool table will hope to get beat with a gold trombone. Ra-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da. My friends with a handful of trumpeters did to the famous favorite walls of Jericho. Oh, billion pound walls come tumbling down. Oh, a band'll do, my friends. Oh, yes, I mean a boys' band. You hear me? I say River City's gonna have a boys' band, and I mean she needs one today. Well, Professor Harold Hill's on hand, and River City's gonna have a boys' band. As sure as the Lord made little green apples, that band's gonna be in uniform. Johnny, Willie, Teddy, Fred, and you'll see the glitter of crashing cymbals, the thunder of rolling drums, the shimmer of trumpets, dun dun ah, and you'll feel something akin to the electric thrill I once enjoyed when Gilmore, Liberate, Pat Conway, the great Creator, W.C. Handy, and John Philip Sousa all came to town in the very same historic day. 76 trombones led the big parade with 110 cornets right behind. Followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottom timpani and horse spittoons, thundering, thundering all along the way. Double-bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having its big fat say. There were 50 mountain cannon in the battery, thundering, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters should improvise a full octave higher than the score.
credentials. Grab that hoodlum.
Thank you, Professor. Have to make an example of him. Ringleader, you know, what he does, the gang does.
Chisel Pete's, let me go. You wild kid, ya. Tagging down Main Street after my oldest girl last Sunday.
I wasn't either
Don't
tagging.
you counterdict me.
He's just walking with her.
You watch your phraseology. I know what you was doing. My little Gracie Senior. Now you stay away from my oldest girl, or you'll hear from me till who laid the rails. Hill. I'll talk to you Monday morning about this band thing. Over at City Hall. 10 o'clock sharp. Men, I want this spellbinder's credentials.
Constable, I'll be responsible for the boy.
You don't know this kid. He's tough, and he's got his gang waiting outside.
Constable, I'll show you how to bring up a gang. Oh, young lady. Oh, miss. What's your name?
Zanita, I don't have any idea who's beckoning me. Yeekat!
Zanita, do you know Tommy?
Well,
Tommy, this is Zanita. Escort the young lady home. By way of the candy kitchen.
Yes, sir. Do I have to?
You have to.
Yes, sir.
Yeekat!
Professor Hill, you're a pretty bright young fella, but you made a couple mistakes.
Oh?
The mayor happens to own the billiard parlor and that new pool table in town.
And what was my other mistake?
That Zanita, she's the mayor's oldest girl.
Hold on. We need your credentials. We're the school board.
Academic certificates.
Nothing of the kind. We need letters and papers.
Make him put him up on.
What am I hearing?
Good job. Come on. I don't see.
Say ice cream.
Ice cream. But I don't sing, young man, if that's what...
All right then,
No, I
talk
don't need
down
to write it over
here.
I can do it during
Ice cream.
intermission.
Talk slow.
Ice cream.
Ice cream, now you right here.
Ice cream.
Now you, sir.
Ice cream.
Ladies, from now on, you'll never see one of these men without the other two.
Oh, Professor, you're wrong. They've hated each other for 15 years. How can there be any sin insincere? Are we sincerely in love?
I don't suppose you live alone or anything.
No.
I've got some wonderful caramels over at the hotel if you just...
Mr. Hill.
Professor Hill.
Professor of what? At what college? Do they give you a degree for annoying women on the street, like a Saturday night rowdy at a public dance hall?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I'm a conservatory man myself. Gary, Indiana, gold medal class of '05.
Even should that happen to be true, does that give you the right to follow me around wherever I go? Another thing, Mr. Hill, I'm not as easily mesmerized or hoodwinked as some people in this town, and I think it's only fair to warn you that I have a shelf full of reference books that may very well give me some interesting information about you.
Oh, Professor Hill, we're all agog. Simply agog.
On the qui-vive.
Everybody is so excited about the band.
I'm at the Doppelmayr.
Yep. And this is Mrs. Squires and Mrs. Hicks. And of course, Eulalie McKechnie Shin, our mayor's wife. Isn't it exciting, Eulalie?
Oh, I couldn't say. I could not say. Oh, no.
My husband will wish to investigate, I'm sure. And naturally, I'm reticent. Oh, yes, I'm reticent.
Of course, Mrs. Shin, I understand. But you see, part of my music plans include a committee on the dance and... No, wait. Do that again, Mrs. Shin. Your foot, the way you raised it just now.
Oh, I have a bunion there that bothers.
What grace, what natural flow of rhythm, what expression of line and movement.
Mr. Hill!
You must accept the chairmanship for the Ladies' Auxiliary for Classic Dance, mustn't she, ladies?
Oh, yes, please, you must, Eulalie.
Every move you make bespeaks Del Sarte. Will you, Mrs. Shin? Say yes.
Eulalie McKechnie Shin. Ah, well,
That is, dancing well.
Then you accept?
Yes, indeed, and I would like to point
Thank
out
you.
that,
Now, the young lady who plays the piano, Marianne Peru, I believe. After all, she is the librarian.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, cheep, cheep. Pick a lot, pick a little, more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, cheep, cheep. Pick a lot, pick a little, more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, cheep, cheep. Pick a lot, pick a little, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 cheep.
Professor, her kind of woman doesn't belong on any committee. Of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but she advocates dirty books.
Dirty books?
Rabelais!
Balzac!
And the worst thing, I shouldn't tell you this either, but
I'll tell.
Man lives on my street, let me tell.
Stop! I'll tell. The woman made brazen overtures to a man who never had a friend in this town till she came here. Oh, Miser Madison.
Miser Madison, Madison Gymnasium, Madison Picnic Park, Madison Hospital. That Miser Madison?
exactly. Who'd he think he was anyway?
Well, I should say show off. Gave the town the library too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he left the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her.
She was seen going and coming from his place.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That woman made brazen overtures with a gilded guarantee. She had a golden glint in her eye and a silver voice with a counterpart ring. Just melt her down and you'll reveal lump of lead as cold as steel. Here, where women's hearts should be. He left River City, the library building, but he left all the books to her. Chaucer!
Rabelais!
Balzac!
Of course. I have just what you wanted over at the hotel if you just come in. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Mrs. Peru, do you realize you have the facial characteristics of a cornet virtuoso?
I don't know if I understand you entirely, Professor.
If your boy has that same firm chin and those splendid cheek muscles, by George. Not that he could ever be really great, you see.
And in the name of St. Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, all the really great cornet players were all Irish. O. Clark, O. Mendez, O. Klein.
But, Professor, we are Irish.
No. No, really? That clinches it. Sign here, Mrs. Peru. Your boy was born to play the cornet. Fine, fine. $7. Earnest money. Nothing more due until the first installment. Payable at the opening of band practice. And of course, I'll need the boy's measurements for his band uniform.
His uniform?
Hello, son. A stripe? Certainly, my boy. A wide red stripe on each side. What do you think of that?
I do hope you'll excuse Winthrop, Professor. We can't get him to say 3 words a day, even to us. Why, if you could get him to play in that band, by George, it would be a miracle. Where are you from, Professor?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
Was she now?
Gold medal class of '05. Hello, Miss Peru.
Mr. Hill,
He wants to put Winthrop in the band.
Do you burst into everyone's lives like this?
Madian?
We're not interested.
Why not let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Anything else?
Professor, I do hope you'll excuse Madian. She's not really...
Please, I'm sure that at heart she's as lovely as yourself. Good day to you, Mrs. Peru.
Good day to you too, Professor. Madian Peru!
Has he gone?
I hope not forever. Darling, don't you ever think of your future. Gary Conservatory, class of Art 5. Now, darling!
Now, Mama, the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right. But it's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in one drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire.
Mama! Winthrop! Winthrop, I know you're there. Please go to the library and ask Miss Grubb to give you the book I set aside. It's a large brown volume with black corners. It's the Indiana State Educational Journal, 1890 to 1910.
Do I have to?
You don't have to say anything. I've written it all down.
Now, what are you up to? Why do you need books at this hour of the night?
I have a feeling that the Indiana State Educational Journal will help me poke some large holes in Professor's claims.
Anita, meet me after supper.
Meet you where?
The footbridge.
Last time the lumberyard and now the footbridge. And where will you meet me after that? In the black hole of Calcutta? Yeekads! Tommy, it's Papa.
Didn't I say, get that spellbinder's credentials? I said it morning of July 4th, 1912.
Yes, George.
And now the whole town's turned upside down. The school board singing up street and down alley instead of tending to city matters.
I found something very interesting in this book about Professor Hill's alma mater.
His who?
His university.
I know all about that. In fact, that's the only thing I can ever get out of it. Isn't it? Gary Conservatory, class of Art 5.
So just take a little time to read about the conservatory. I have a feeling you won't have to look further. It's on page...
At this hour of the day, the Wells Fargo wagon, the band's instruments, I want that man's credentials.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Please let it be for me. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. I wish I knew what it could be.
In March I got a gray Mackinac,
And once I got some grapefruit from Temple.
Montgomery Ward sent me a bathtub and a cross-cut sock.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Free and paid subscribers COD.
It could be curtains.
Or dishes.
Yes, it could be. Yes, you're right. It surely could be. Something very, very special now for me.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming now. I don't know how I could ever wait to see. It could be something for someone who has no relation, but it could be something special just for me.
Wells Fargo wagon keeps on coming. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon keeps on coming. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon comes to take away
It's a band instrument.
Here you are, Winthrop.
My cornet. Gee, thanks, Professor.
Men, you will each receive individual instruction in due course. In the meantime, stay off the streets and get acquainted with your instruments and think about the minuet in G. Minuet in G. La di da di da di da di da. La di da. La di da.
Sister, I've never thought I'd see anything so scrumptious as this scrumptious solid gold thing. Oh, sister.
Round one for you, Mr. Hill, but I better hear some by gad tootin' out of them horns in pretty short order, or I'll see you in front of the grand jury. Now, Miss Marion, about that book.
Come,
Hold
George.
on. I've got to get something from the librarian. About that book.
I've never seen Winthrop so happy before. Thank you, Professor.
My pleasure, Miss Brew.
Start her up, Mr. Washburn. Just wait until you see the new steps Professor Hill taught us.
All right, what'll it be?
The shapoopy.
Shapoopy. Now a little kiss on the very first date is usually a hussy. Now a little kiss on the second time out is anything but fussy. Now a little kiss on the third time around, head in the clouds, feet on the ground. Geez, no, you're
you, but I am not. I'd hate to have your daughter afraid of your father.
Papa, please. It's Capulets like you make blood in the marketplace. Egats!
You watch your phraseology, young woman. Now go home.
Egats!
Mr. Mayor, I want you to know I'm vouching for Tommy Gillis. That boy's got the confidence of every kid in town. You'll be standing in line waiting to shake their hand by the time our band plays its first concert.
By the time your band plays its first concert, the individual members will have to foregather in wheelchairs on account of the broken legs they'll get from tripping over their beers. I'll tell you something, never mind. Oliver, JC, Ewan, Olive, I want this man's references and I want him tonight. Don't let him out of your sight. He's slipperier than a Mississippi sturgeon.
Mayor Shin has behaved abominably, and I think it's wonderful for you going to Tommy's defense.
Man can't dodge the issue every time a little personal risk is involved. What does the poet say? A coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave man only 500.
I just wish I was more informed. I've been wanting to talk to you about Winthrop's cornet.
His cornet, mother of pearl keys.
I'm sure it's fine. He tells me about the think system, and if he thinks in the minuet in G, he won't have to worry about the notes. Now, Professor.
Miss Marion, the think system is a revolutionary method, I'll admit. Now, I cannot discuss these things here in public, but if you allow me to call, when may I call?
Why, anytime this week.
For all to see. We know that you will soon unfold a forgiving heart of purest gold. Here, where woman's heart should be. Fairy princess, moving floor, golden shimmer, silver shoes. Now unfold, heart of gold. Here, where woman's heart should be. The professor told us to read those books, and we simply adore them all. Chaucer, Rabelais, Balzac. Cheep, 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 cheep.
Mama, Winthrop, where have you been?
Fishing
Fishing?
with Harold. He told me all about his hometown, Gary, Indiana, and he said he'd take me there someday. He even taught me a song that hardly had any S's in it. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, let me say it once again. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, that's the town that knew me when. If you like to have a logical explanation, how I happened on this elegant syncopation, I will say without a moment of hesitation, there is just one place that will light my face.
Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana.
Mount Louisiana, Paris, Fred, New York, Rome. But
Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana,
my home sweet home.
I'll be back in a minute. I have to summer roast my live frog.
Leave the dishes, I'll do them, Mama.
You the piano teacher in town?
Why, yes.
Then you must know about this fellow Hill forming the boys down here.
Yes.
Well, don't let that worry you no more. I got the goods on him in spades. Swindling two-bit dimwigger. I'm just passing through. Number 8 on the next 15-minute water stop.
Who are you?
Name's Charlie Cowan.
anvil salesman. But just now, I'm at to protect the good name of traveling fraternity from this swindler.
Mr. Cowell, you're making a big mistake.
Mistake my old lady's corset cover. That fellow's been the raspberry seed of my wisdom tooth just long enough. He spoiled Illinois for me, and he's not gonna spoil Iowa. Say, what kind of music teacher are you? You didn't see it through him. He's no more professor.
I know all about that. Band leaders are always called professor. It's a harmless deception. He's a fine director, and his scholastic is...
Now, wait a minute. Fine director? Have you heard one note of music from any band?
No, but...
But nothing, girly girl. He never formed a band in his life, and he never will.
You'll never catch your train at the depot. You'll have to catch it at the crossing.
No, sir. I've got to leave word, and I can see you ain't the one to leave it with.
Say, I've never met a man who sells anvils. That's something, well, quite different.
Takes a real salesman, I can tell you that. Anvils have a limited appeal, you know. What am I doing? I missed that train, I'll get fired. And I've got to leave word about that fellow Hill.
Leave word with me.
Not on your tin top. How do I know you deliver these letters?
Try me. Now there's your train. Run for it.
Why, you double-dealing little... Who do you think I'm protecting? That guy's got a girl in every county in Illinois, and that's 102 counties. Not counting the piano teachers like you he cozies up to. Keep that mouth shut. Neither one of you has heard the last of me, girl.
Maddie dear, who was that you was just talking to? Why, Professor Hill.
Mrs. Prue, top of the evening. Miss Marion?
You and Maddie come up and, set. I've got some jelly on the stove.
There's no jelly on the stove, Mama.
Well, then I'll put some on.
Shall we set, as your mother said?
Well,
You did ask me to call.
Professor Hill, is it true that you've... What I'm trying to say is... I must be very dull company for a man of your experience.
Now, say, where'd you get an idea like that?
One hears rumors about traveling salesmen.
Now, Miss Marion, you mustn't believe everything you hear. After all, one even hears rumors about librarians.
I suppose you're referring to Uncle Matty.
Uncle Matty?
Mr. Madison, my father's best friend. No matter what they say, he left me an assured job so Mother Winthrop and I would have some security. Surely you don't believe...
Of course not. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. But why do you think people start those rumors?
Narrow-mindedness, jealousy. Jealousy mostly, I guess.
Exactly. And jealousy mostly starts rumors about traveling salesmen. What have you heard?
It's just that it stands to reason that disappointment and jealousy can lead to... take you, for instance. Your intentions to customers and, well, teachers may very well be misinterpreted, might they? Honestly, might they?
Why...
And so you say, if another salesman or someone were to be jealous, they could be downright lies, couldn't they?
What could?
Rumors and things.
Why, of course.
It just proves you should never believe everything you hear, doesn't it? If you discuss things...
Miss Marion, I would be delighted to discuss anything in the world with you, but couldn't we do it sitting down? You do sit, your knees bend and all.
We could sit on the porch steps.
We could also sit on a nice hollow log over at the footbridge.
I couldn't think of it. I've never been to the footbridge with a man in my life.
Just to talk. Meet me there in 15 minutes.
I just can't. Another time. Maybe tomorrow.
My dear little librarian, pile up enough tomorrows and you'll find you've collected nothing but a lot of empty yesterdays. I don't know about you, but I'd like to make today worth remembering. The footbridge. 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Mama!
What?
I just told Professor Hill I meet him at the footbridge in 15 minutes.
Glory be at the saints be praised. It works.
What does?
I've been using the think system on you from the parlor.
isn't in a band, there never has been in a band, and there never will be in a band. And if you don't hunt this man down right now like a mad dog, there won't be any Harold Hill either. He'll be on the next train out of town.
Now will you believe me?
Well, what are we waiting for?
I want my money back.
Money back, I want to try.
After him. And when you find him, bring him to the schoolhouse. After him.
Greg! Some crazy guy's going all over town spilling everything.
All right, Morris, get the rig.
I got it.
What time's the freight go?
9:40 from the junction.
Well, it's not even 8:30 yet.
Look, you want to turtle around and get caught in a trap, you go ahead.
Don't worry, Morris. I'll meet you at the hotel in plenty of time. Miss Marion, you're late.
But you said 15 minutes.
I meant that you were, well, I'd say about 26 years late. Took you all this time to get to the footbridge with a fella.
If you want to know the truth, it was almost longer.
Oh?
Halfway here, I nearly turned back. I suppose I'm not the first to find it easier to think when I'm not under the spell of your salesmanship.
Now, Miss Marion, surely you don't think I've been selling you anything.
No, you've given me something. That's why I decided to come.
I don't recall giving.
Oh, yes, you have. Something beautiful.
Marion,
There were bells on the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them at all till there was you. And there was music, and there were wonderful roses. They tell me with sweet, fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was
Marion, there's a lot of things you don't know about me. Psst,
Greg!
excuse me. I'm expecting a cable from Hector Berlioz. This could be it. Now what?
Who's the salesman here? Looks like she's selling and you're buying.
I had to keep her off balance, didn't I?
Well, now she's so off balance you couldn't tell her from a catboat in a hurricane.
Go get the rig. Never a peaceful moment in the music business. Now then, where were we?
You were about to tell me all the things I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, we really don't have to get into that now, or do we?
No, we don't, or ever for that matter. Harold, the library hasn't felt like much doing research lately, but she did plenty when you first came to town.
Oh, about what?
About Professor Harold Hill, Gary Conservatory of Music, gold medal class of '05. Harold, there was no Gary Conservatory in '05
Why, there's certainly.
because the town wasn't built till '06. See you at the sociable.
You knew all this time?
Since July 7th, 3 days after you came.
Why, you little...
Greg! He's not around here. Let's go check down by the creek.
Winthrop,
Hey, wait a minute here, son.
I'm not your son. Leave go of me.
Not till I talk to you for a minute.
I would listen to you and tell the truth anyway.
Would too.
Would not.
Would too tell you anything you wanted to know.
Can you lead a band?
No.
Are you a big liar?
Yes.
Are you a dirty rotten crook?
Yes.
Leave go of me, you big liar.
What's the matter? You wanted the truth, didn't you? Now I'm bigger than you, and you're gonna stand here and get it all, so you might as well quit wiggling. There's 2 things you're entitled to know. 1, you're a wonderful kid. I thought so from the first. That's why I wanted you in the band, just so you quit moping around feeling sorry for yourself.
What band?
I always think there's a band, kid.
What's the other thing I'm entitled to now?
Well, now that I think of it, the other thing isn't really any of your business.
I wish you never came to River City.
No, you don't, Winthrop.
Sister, you believe him?
I believe everything he ever said, just like the way every kid in this town walked around all summer, looked and acted, especially you, and the adults too. Does Mother wish he'd never come to River City?
Well, you do, don't you?
No, I don't. Now, Harold, go, please.
Go on, Professor, hurry up.
I can't go, Winthrop.
Why?
For the first time in my life, I caught my foot stuck in the door.
Greg, they're here, that way. Go on, Professor, that way, that way.
Virtue has triumphed. The sword of retribution has cut down Professor Harold Hill. And if there are those, as I have heard, who are melting tar and collecting feathers, I will not say them, nay.
Well, there ought to be some of you who could forget the everlasting, I was stubborn, chip on the shoulder ignorance long enough to remember River City before Harold Hill arrived. Do you remember? Well, do you? Surely some of you ought to be grateful for what he's brought to River City, and if so, I should think you'd want to admit it.
You're wasting a great deal of time here. If there's a person in this hall who doesn't think this man Hill should be tarred and feathered, please step forward. You lately step back. Have you people forgotten how you bought expensive uniforms, technical instruction books, and high-priced band instruments? Have you forgotten the clear understanding and warranty that your child will be taught to play in a band? Well, where's the band? Where's the band?